Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Zeno's Wisdom Have. You ever felt invisible even when people are looking right at you? What if I told you the world often misses the most beautiful part of you? Simply Bakos, it's not on the surface in this video. We're going to explore a truth thought many overlook but one that can change the way we see ourselves and others. Especially as we grow older, it's about how we define beauty, about how easily we judge people based on appearance, age, or the shape of their body, while the most valuable parts of who they are remain hidden, waiting to be seen. This isn't just about how others view us, it's about how we learn to see ourselves. I want to tell you a story one thought stayed with me long after I first heard it. It came from an elderly woman named Clara, known in her village for her quiet wisdom and kind eyes. She once told the story of another woman, Layla, a woman whose body brought her attention but no understanding, a woman judged for something as superficial as her curvaceous, who carried that judgment like asbellant weight through Clara's eyes. Under throw, Leela's experience will uncover a deeper understanding of what really defines us. I'll also be sharing insights in why your spirit, your kindness, and that of your experiences matter far more than your appearance, and how embracing your unique journey can help you move through life with more confidence and compassion. The end of this video, you won't just see yourself friendly, you'll have the wisdom to stronger, more meaningful relations with others and with yourself. Comment 1 if you've ever felt misjudged just for the way you look, or if someone close to you has. Let's change your way we see beauty. And starting now, in a small village nestled between golden hills and fields of wildflowers, there lived a young woman named Leela. She wasn't loud and she never asked to be the center of attention, but wherever she went eyes followed. Lee had the kind of beauty people couldn't help but notice. Say her curves were soft, full, and undeniable, but the attention they brought wasn't admiration, it was assumption. She must know what she's doing. Some whispered, her beauty like that doesn't just happen by accident. Others said less, but stared longer. To the people in her village, her body spoke louder than her voice. They saw the shape of her hips, the sway in her walk, the softness in her frame, and made up entire stories about who she must be. But no one asked her about the book she loved, the song she sang in private, or the dream she quietly carried in her heart. No one wondered why her smile sometimes felt forced, or why her eyes often searched the ground as she walked, because Lila wasn't just being noticed, she was being judged. Her body became both a crown and aquedge. On the outside, people praised her body, but on the inside, she felt trapped like a car character in Sonia Niels's story, playing a role she never auditioned for. There's a unique kind of pain that comes from being defined by our body. It's loud but silent. It's Leela's story, a woman judged for her body, not herself, visible but isolating, and over time it can make you question your own value beyond the physical. What happens when the world only sees the outside and never asks about the inside? That's when Clara stepped in, a woman who had lived her own storms and learned to see deeper. She watched Leela quietly, not with judgment, but with understanding, and she knew it was time someone reminded this young woman that she was so much more than what others chose to see. Clara saw through it all. She had lived long in Noto, know the difference between being noticed and being seen, and she knew Thessaland heartbreak of feeling invisible, not because you disappeared, but because people stopped looking for the real you. She had seen it in herself, in her friends, and now in Lila. It was the same grief, just different skin. So one evening, as the village gathered near the fire to listen, Clara stood up and spoke. Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried. Chad always did when Chad spoke from her heart. You see, her smile lines, Clara began. But do you know the years of joy and sorrow that carved them? You see her body, but do you feel the burden it's carried, the pain it's absorbed, the love it's given without asking for anything back? There was the kind that falls when truth it's too close. Many men over 50 say they want to understand women better. This is where it starts, because something happens after childbirth, after heartbreak, after menopause. It's not that women fade, it's that the world's gaze shifts. People stop looking with curiosity and start looking with assumptions. Some stop looking altogether, but what they miss is this. That's the thievery stage in life, when a woman becomes her most profound. Her emotions deepen, her sense of self strengthens, her to love, to intuition, to compassion. It all matures. She becomes richer in ways the eye can't see, but most people don't look long enough. Tofiniao. Clara knew that Leela's beauty wasn't just in her body, it was in her resilience, her quiet strength, and the way she carried herself with grace, even when no one clapped. And when you only look at the body, you miss the soul. Anthi. Soul, that's where the real magic is. Only afternoon Lee sat beside Clara, under the old olive tree where they often met their eyes, usually guarded, were glossy with emotion. Is this all they see? She asked quietly. Just my body. Clara didn't answer. Right away she just reached, overtook Leia's hand and looked at her with calm wisdom that only comes from living through decades of being misunderstood. No, sweetheart, she said softly. They see what they're trained to see, but that's not all there is. You are not your body. She continued, you are the way you listen when someone's voice trembles. You are the way you show up when it matters. You are the warmth in a room that no one sees coming. True beauty, Clara told her, isn't something that fades with time. It's something that deepens. It lives in your laugh. You're what most people miss when they look at a woman. Kindness, the way you hold space for people when they can't hold themselves. Is a very kindness you offer. Clara said, ice like sunlight through stained glass. People may not notice it right away, but once it hits them, it stays. She leaned Ina a little closer. And here's something most people never understand. Attraction grows. Real connection doesn't come from perfect skin or a flawless body. It comes from shared laughter, whispered truths, and moments when you feel safe to befully yourself. That day something shifted in Leela. Not everything changed, but she started to walk a little lighter, not because others stopped judging, but because she stopped letting those judgments define her, because she finally believed it. Buff beauty wasn't something she had to off. It was something she already carried, and once you see that in yourself, you start to see it in others too. If you're a man over 50, this might surprise you. Your age doesn't reduce their ability to connect, it deepens it. In fact, the more life you've lived, the more capacity you have to understand them and emotionally engage and thoughts where real attraction begins. Because here's the truth. What women over 45 long for isn't perfection, it's presence. Not flashy words or grand gestures, but small things. How you listen, you show up, how you make her feel seen. For many women especially, those who've experienced years of being overlooked, emotional connection is everything. For it's not about being physically flawless, it's about emotional safety, maturity, and depth. When you stop seeing her body as a symbol and start seeing her as a story, everything changes. A woman feels emotionally safe, she relaxes. When she feels valued, she opens one. She feels truly seen, not for how she looks, but for who she is. Her desire grows naturally, and this isn't just romantic talk. Research backs this up. Studies have shown that emotional intimacy is the biggest predictor of sexual satisfaction in older couples. One study even found that couples in their 60s and 70s who reported feeling how attraction grows from emotional intimacy, emotionally connected, were more likely to describe their sex life as fulfilling than those decades younger. Why? Because emotional connection ignites the body in ways youth never could. It releases trust hormones, it lowers stress, it increases energy, vitality, and even boosts libido. So if you're wondering how to keep your relationship alive, or even spark something new, the answer isn't in chasing youth or trying to impress, it's in showing up fully, paying attention, being curious, and leading with care. The truth is, when a man truly sees a woman, not just her body but her soul, he gives her something the world rarely offers: freedom to be her full self, and in return, she often gives him the deepest version of herself. To Clara's story was just about Leela, it was about what every man can learn if he's truly ready to see beyond the surface. She did not just speak for one woman, she spoke for generations of women who have lived, loved, and felt unseen. Women are emotional beings, not because they're weak, but because they're wired for connection. Their emotional wisdom comes from years of reading between the lines, of caring for others without always being asked, of carrying invisible weight with grace, and too often that wisdom is ignored. But if you're a man who wants to be admired, respected, and deeply disarrayed, you have to offer those things first. That's the key. It's not about having all the answers, it's about being present. See her when she's tired, not just when she's stressed up. Listen when she says I'm fine, and no, that might mean she needs you to ask again. Compliment her strength, her patience, not just her appearance. Because here's what so many men don't realize: when a woman feels emotionally safe, everything changes. Her energy shifts, her body softens, her intimacy deepens. And yes, science confirms this too. Studies show that when a woman feels loved, her cortisol levels drop, her oxytocin, what we call advice for men over 50, real presence, beats perfection. Love hormone rises. That means lower stress, better sleep, more energy, and even signs of slower aging. Love, real love, just change her mood. It changes her biology. So when you show up, not with gifts or fixes, but with presence, youth, biological power of love, and emotional safety, give her something rare, peace and her rest. Beautiful twist when she feels Sanji wants to see you too, not just the mask you wear, but the man beneath ethos, where real connection starts. Kari's chemistry, presence is power, and if you want to truly be seen, start by seeing her first. As the sun dipped behind the hills and painted the warm amber light, Clara gathered the townspeople under the old oak tree. The air was still as if the world itself was leaning in to listen. Lee sat near the front, her eyes calmer than they had been weeks ago. Had grown not because the world had changed, but because she had begun to see herself differently, and she owed that shift to Clara, who rose to her feet with a gentle steadiness that came from yourself, living, losing, loving, and learning. Clara looked at each face around her, young and old, men and women, and then spoke the words she had carried in her heart for decades. You are not your youth, she said. You are not your shape. You are not your skin. You are how you love, how you forgive, how you walk through the world when no one is clapping. She turned to the men. Many of them sat quietly reflecting on the stories they'd heard, and to the men here, Clara continued, when you truly see a woman, not for her looks, but for her soul, will open to you in ways no mirror could ever reflect. When you honor her, she invites you into her most sacred spaces. Her trust, her warmth, her truth, real beauty, Clara reminded them, never fades, because it was never about appearance to begin with. It was about presence. It's about how someone shows up in life, how they care, how they stay kind even when it's hard. The crowd did a applaud. They didn't need to. There was a meaning deeper than noise in the air, a shared understanding, a pause of reverence, and in that quiet something inside each listener shifted echoes. Once you understand that real beauty lives in how someone makes you feel, you begin to see the world and yourself with brand new eyes. So let me leave you with this: every person is more. Clara's final lesson: what real beauty is, and how to see it in what meets the eye, including you. Whether you're a woman who's felt unseen, a man who's been unsure of how to make know this, your worth isn't dito how you look, how old you are, or what others have said about you. We've all been misjudged, and we've all misjudged others, but it's never too late to slow down and look again, this time with a heart. You are not just a body walking through time. You're a soul wrapped in memory, experience, and love. And if no one has told you this lately, you are worth more than you know. If this story touched something inside you, I'd love to hear from you. Comment one below to let me know you're still here, still listening, still feeling. And if it didn't quite connect with you, that's okay to drop us, sir, and tell me what you needed instead. I read every comment, and if there's someone in your life who needs to hear this, someone who's forgotten your own value, please share this video with them. It could be the reminder they didn't know they were waiting for. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more content like this, the kind that doesn't just entertain but reaches deeper. In the next video, I'll share something powerful: most misunderstood emotional need. Women over 45 wish men understood better. When we learn to see with our hearts, we don't just grow older, we grow wiser, deeper, and closer to the kind of love we all deserve.